Honestly, if you skip Fear 3, then no one in the world would blame you. To call this the black sheep of the franchise is putting it lightly. It's got many problems, and it being developed by a different developer is just one of them. You know how in Resident Evil 5 the game had a much bigger emphasis on co-op? Well, this is the franchise's answer to that. Whoever thought that Fear really needed co-op instead of genuine horror needs to be drop-kicked on the side of the Burj Khalifa. The game starts out in a prison, but you get an early release due to COVID-19 cases happening in the prison. I mean, I would make a joke about how if you're in prison you get an early release from COVID, but the rest of society gets locked down, but I don't want to risk the almighty authoritarian tech giants banning my ass for wrongthink. If you thought that Fear 1 and 2 were linear, well, this game is more linear than a fucking hallway. This game has this point and challenge system, and this is how you upgrade your character with passive bonuses. Yeah, you heard that right. Truth be told, I don't exactly have a problem with this, as this game has an emphasis on competitive co-op, so you do need something in the game that calls for competitive gameplay. This game also has regenerative health instead of using health packs. Again, I understand why they went with this choice, as it's much faster paced than all the other Fears, and just imagine playing this game without health regeneration. Once you get up to the main cell block, you pick up a P90 shotgun. This shotgun isn't bad. It seems to do more consistent damage than all the other shotguns in Fear, but the one thing that blows about it is that it has lower damage innately, and it takes like 10,000 years to reload it. Sooner or later you'll level up for the first time and you'll have access to the slide and jump kicks. Melee is more viable here simply because of the health regen, and you can take a pretty high amount of damage before dying. The ending cutscene is a pre-rendered FMV. In fact, most if not all the cutscenes in the game are pre-rendered. Why the fuck they thought this was a good idea for a game in 2011 is beyond me. But there's a reason why you don't outsource sequels of a game franchise to other developers. This level starts out in the shitters, which is unusually appropriate for this game. One frequent problem about this game is that you pretty much pistol start almost every single level. So if you have a weapon you want to save, well, get fucked. After that, you get to see SCP-096 start to cull the human population, then you're off to the slums. This level, in fact this game, makes me want to hurl. Even with the max FOV that you could possibly get, this claustrophobic level still feels like you're looking through a pair of binoculars. Near the beginning of the level, you can pick up a sniper rifle. This sniper rifle is about as effective as it was from the last game. However, it doesn't zoom in like a fucking microscope this time around. However, if you do zoom in, I recommend slow-moing while you do it. Last parts of the level, you have to fight what looks like a midget version of the geckos from MGS4. They're not as annoying to deal with, just spam grenades and the rocket launchers if you can find them. Then you gotta deal with Dr. Manhattan and his legion of fuckboys. For whatever reason, this tanky blue bastard takes magazines upon magazines of headshots with the sniper rifle just to kill the blueberry fuck. Now you're in a looted store in Philly and have to deal with all these annoying black bloc protesters. Shit, some of them even Allah Akbar themselves. I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually come to that. After all, the election day is just 2 days away at the time of me making this video. God help us all. This level is more linear than a roller coaster, and for the most part, if not all of the level is just these loony ass rioters you gotta fight. Then you get the enjoyment of fighting these knife-throwing chuckle fucks. Surprisingly, these hype heads can kill you faster with knives than bullets. As to why knives hurt you more than bullets is beyond me. And at the end of the level is a gauntlet of all these looters. Not that I have a problem with that. The riots have unfortunately been taken to the suburbs. This level is all the same bullshit as level 2. If you're prone to motion sickness, then stay away from this game, especially whenever you're inside the buildings. The only good thing about this level is that you finally get the assault rifle. Yeah, it's a burst rifle and it has a fairly low magazine capacity, but it's quite common, especially in the later levels, and it's powerful as fuck. It's even more satisfying if you're able to land an entire burst into someone's brain box. Then you have to deal with the fucking gecko again. This part is quite bullshit as there's basic foot soldiers spawning out the wazoo and there's fuck all for cover against the mech. The only decent cover is that shed, so you better use it. Then you go through more eyesore buildings, face a gauntlet with the rioters, and then control a mech. Surprisingly, the mech section is quite short here. The last part of the level is a boss. That's basically as Simon Says. Just shoot the glowing power thingy-majiggies, then watch Dr. Manhattan explode in his metal condom. This level can get on its knees and promptly suckle upon my warm and glorious ballsack. No, I don't hate it because I died more times in it than I'd like to admit. I mean, there are legitimate reasons as to why I don't like this level. Namely the fact that I died more times in it than I'd like to admit. It starts out with multiple clashes of rioters against the police. Then it does that stupid shit where you go and try to open something up but you gotta wait for it and the game starts sending waves and waves of enemies back at you while you wait for the fucking thing to open up. I swear that gaming trope needs to be taken out back and shot by the police. After that is this section where most of my deaths happen. Don't judge. This part was hard. And I also thought you were supposed to go into the tower somewhere until I realized you were supposed to go through this fucking door. Then is a small section with SCP-096. I don't even know if shooting him does anything, but like the real thing, just ignore him and run away. If you guessed correctly that another mech is supposed to appear after this section, well congratulations, you get nothing because I don't have anything to give. This mech is the powered armor version instead of the midget gecko. This is surprisingly quite hard as you don't have a lot of supply for shock grenades and the laser cannon you pick up obviously doesn't do a whole lot of damage. If you're a person with mythic proportions of patience then you can get through this just fine. After Alma Wade orgasms is when the game gets pretty damn bullshit with the powerful enemies it'll throw at you in the last few levels. First up on the list are these shield bastards. Throwing grenades at them has rather limited effectiveness as they recover quite quickly. The riot shield they drop is a neat gimmick and is quite useful for certain sections of the game. Second is near the end of the level, when the level and the rest of the game gets quite liberal with the amount of these big bastards they throw at you. My fucking god, are these some of the most annoying shit suckers in the entire game. This level is more linear than a bridge. You see, it's funny because this level is a bridge. However, it also introduces you to the third annoying bastard you get to fight. These fucking hellhound looking gargoyle demon things or whatever the fuck they are. First half of the level has a fetish for these godforsaken ugly bastards, as it's quite frequent to get repeatedly gangbanged by these bitches. Running away don't do shit because they can leap the distance. Using melee against them also isn't that effective either. Slow-mowing is quite effective, but once you run out, well, you better get on your knees and pray to the RNG gods. Once you get up to the top of the bridge, most of the level from here on out is all about the mech. I would talk more about it, but truth be told, this section is fucking boring. Level 7 is when all the annoying enemies get sprinkled throughout the level, from the shields to the hellhounds to the commanders. This level is also considerably bigger and more open than all the others, but then again it's a fucking airport. Early on, you get to fight the blueberry muffins. If you got the shock grenades, use them here. I don't know if the shock grenades even do damage to them, but stunning them in place helps out a lot, but they're still bullet sponges. After the phase commander is the helicopter. This one is hilariously easy as long as you use cover. Next part of the level is pure bullshit as you have to fight 2 of the fucking phase commanders at the same time. I died here so many fucking times that I was this close to actually rage quitting. One cheap tactic I did was right when they spawn, chuck a shock grenade and pick up a riot shield if you can find one. Using the riot shield here is a literal night and day difference. Last part of the level is a short mech section, then you get to watch Sergeant Beckett, who was the protagonist from Fear 2, explode.
She's no longer your mother, child. It cannot be allowed to. Say
Like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Final level of the game is quite ass. It's just a walking simulator between a few rooms with more than enough annoying jump scares of SCP-096. After you go into the rooms to destroy some memories, the final boss of the game is SCP-096 himself. I shit you not. This is fucking pathetic for an end boss, as all you have to do is just shoot at the glowy bits 3 times and win. SCP turns out to be Harlan Wade, who is the father of Alma Wade. How the fuck did he turn into SCP-096 is beyond my mere mortal comprehension, but let me tell you, the SCP Foundation needs to do a better job with its containment breaches. There's also an ending cutscene which I didn't show because it's fucking gross, and the end credits play Danzing's mother. I bet the game developers were thinking they were some really cheeky fuckers with that one. There's also some multiplayer modes that you can actually play. Offline with bots, but that would require me to play the game more. And does it look like I fucking want to?